Hey folks, John from Alternate Arms, your friend in less than lethal self-defense. All right guys, you asked for it, we saw them at SHOT Show, and we got it. Here we go. Folks, I got to tell you, I have been getting a flood of emails from SHOT Show, and I have got a slate that, quite frankly, I can't even tell you guys about. This is going to be a great year. I had conversations with, well, I'm gonna throw you a little bait out there. I had about an hour-long conversation with Paradigm, and I know a lot of you guys really want to see that launcher. So let's just say the ball's rolling. We'll say the ball is rolling and we'll see where we go from there. So guys, but today, you know, we're going to take a look at the brand new SABRE Pepper Ball Launcher. Now guys, I got to tell you, when I saw this, if you'll remember last year at SHOT Show, I actually had gone to the SABRE booth. They pulled this off the shelf. As I looked at it, I was like, hey, what is that? They pulled it off the shelf because it wasn't ready for release yet. So I was already frothing to get a hold of one of these. And this year, we actually got one. Now, I'm going to tell you in full disclosure, I bought this. I bought this on Amazon, just like the links I'm going to put down below. I bought it because I wanted to show you guys this launcher on the channel, and I wasn't willing to wait through the whole getting set up and having them send one in to test. So, let's take a look at what we got. First of all, guys, one thing you're going to notice about this thing, it is big, and I do mean big. We're going to compare it with a couple of the other launchers here in just a second. But it does actually come with 7 of the red pepper powder rounds. We'll get back to that. All right. It comes with 7 of the, 2 12-gram cartridges, 7 inert practice projectiles, which is really nice. And I don't see anything in here about any kinetic rounds, which I think is actually kind of interesting, which means that it was designed specifically to fire pepper balls. Okay, I can get down with that. All right, well, let's crack this thing open and let's see what we get. Man, I love getting new toys. You know, I love doing this, guys, because you know I wait for you. I never even opened this, and let me tell you, I wanted to. Yeah. All right, let's see what we got in this box here. Now, I am willing to bet, by the way, manufacture date on this was 11/18/23. So pretty much as new as you can get, I'll tell you. All right, opening it up here. There's something on the bottom. Oh, look at this, guys. Okay, so you get a carry case on it. That's actually pretty darn cool. And it's a pretty, kind of like a little standard, generic little flap case. That's pretty cool. But it does have slots here, I'm assuming, for CO2 and pepper balls. That's actually pretty neat. Hey, we love bonus items. Along with all of your instructions. And that looks like a target. Oh, look at this, guys. They actually send you a target to shoot. Okay. All right, guys. SABRE, bravo. I love that. That was a great addition. And here is your owner's manual. Now, guys, this is a pretty easy to use unit. It's pretty basic. One thing this tells you, when I was actually at their, over at the booth, I was looking at the documentation kind of closely, and I was looking at one of their manuals that they had out. And I thought this was interesting. It tells you where not to fire: groin, head region if you can avoid it, or spine. Listen, this is going to be an unpopular opinion, I know that. But if you are in a self-defense situation and you feel like your life is threatened, nothing is off limits. You need to use these to defend your life, your family, and your community. Then you fire where you need to fire. While I agree and I understand the concept of this as a liability thing, hit somebody in the face with one of these, you're definitely going to knock an eye out, and they could be potentially lethal. You hit them in the groin? Okay, never mind. Anyway, but you get the point. Take care of yourself. That's the idea. Let's take it there. Why is there an empty bag in there? That's kind of interesting. And you do get a 2-year warranty. That's kind of nice, too. I did not expect a 2-year warranty. Hey, SABRE's on. We're doing good so far. So as you can see, there's also an Allen key. We'll have to see what that actually goes to. Anything else under here? No, that's it. All right, so comes with 2 standard 12-gram CO2 cartridges, and they look like they're just regular old generics. Yes, they are. Comes with the launcher itself, which we're going to look at here in just a second. These are the 68 caliber inert training rounds. So essentially, guys, these are like the powder rounds we got from Pavashot. And I want to measure these in a second and see if they're the same. For those who are wondering, because we're going to need to know this anyway. Hold on a second here. Let's go 2 grams, clear it. These rounds weigh, golly, and they put these lids on tight these days. All right, these are weighing in at 3.3 grams. Guys, that's a pretty standard for a pepper ball. 3.3 to 3.4 is about average. So we're going to be finding at 3.3 grams on this when we do our velocity tests. Let's take a look at our launcher. Wow. Okay, guys, it's really light. I mean, like super, super, super light. One thing I do like about this that I have never seen before on any of these, it does have that grip safety on it. So in other words, you've got your magazine release here, but you cannot, and I'm gonna show you guys this now. To pull the trigger, this will not engage until this is pulled. Then it will engage it to allow you to pull the trigger. That actually is pretty cool. I do like that safety function on this particular launcher. Standard drop-down magazine. Now, I know what you guys are gonna say. And I would agree. A lot of you guys remember when they were talking about the pepper ball, one of the biggest complaints of those was that you had to actually screw this up to puncture the CO2. And if you were dealing in a time of stress or whatever, you wouldn't have the foresight to pull the launcher out and twist this up to charge it and then be able to go. But I have another thought in mind for this, and we'll talk about it here in just a second. All right, so as you can see, the magazine is a self-contained unit. So all your pepper balls will load in here. And then over here is where your CO2 cartridge will go in. You will screw up here to puncture the CO2. Now, I always get the question, can I puncture it and how long can I leave it punctured? It is never a good idea to leave one of these punctured for long periods of time. You're dealing with a lot of pressure on O-rings, rubber seals that will eventually wear out and that will leak over time. If you've got it in a controlled environment, it's going to leak a whole lot less, but still, you're going to want to change the cartridge. If you insist on leaving it punctured all the time, change it routinely because you need to be practicing with your launcher. But the reality is, with something like this, this is one of those things you could set on your nightstand or whatever, and if you heard something, you pick it up and go. That's the idea. Pretty quick, pretty easy. There you are. And I do like the fact that it does have a magazine. That's pretty cool, too. It looks like there is a hopper up in there, which means it might give you the ability. Guys, look how clean that is up in there. I want to show you that. I hope you can see up in there. There's not much to that up in there, which kind of makes sense. It really does. All right, here's what we're going to do. I want to compare size. I am really, really curious on the size of this launcher. So give me 1 second. Let me crack out, we'll say the Byrna LE, and we'll put it up against a salt supply. Let's see what they look like. Here we go. All right, guys, so here's what we've got. I'm going to show Stumpy this over here. So this is the new Sabre launcher. And I got to first off, guys, okay, I want to see if I can get an accurate reading on this because I don't think this will go that high. It will not. So I can tell you that the salt supply weighs a good 20 to 30% more than the Sabre. The Byrna, they're pretty darn close. They're pretty darn close. Now, we know the salt supply is built like a rock. That thing is solid as a rock. But yeah, these are super, super close. As far as physical dimensions, and I'll put them all side by side here so you can kind of see, we know that the Byrna is going to be the smallest. But what really blew my mind, look at this, guys. So, as you can see, and hopefully this is coming through here, the Sabre is longer than the salt supply. Also, the salt supply's got this sweeping grip on here. Yeah, you know that's one of the things I love about that launcher. Whereas the Sabre actually comes straight down, and that's kind of where you're gripping it. There's not a real sweep or a comfort to it. You can feel that this is a purposed launcher, if that makes any sense. This is nuanced. I mean, it feels like an actual day-to-day carry. This feels like a purpose. You pick it up, and it's got one purpose. Bam, 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 bam. It doesn't feel like what I would consider an EDC, just because it's so large. But it's solid. I mean, it does feel really good. I'm not fond of the yellow. You guys are not fond of the yellow. It looks like that could be taken care of relatively quickly. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws that hold that together potentially. So we can refer to the RIT die video, and odds are we can probably change that. But Size-wise, it is super, super close to the salt supply, as you can see, with the exception of that grip, the positioning on the grip. I like the rear positioning of the grip on this one a little bit more than I like the Sabre. But once again, I can see this being a different purpose. So, tell you what, I want to load this thing up. We're going to use their CO2 cartridges because we want to test what comes in this box. We're going to use their 7 rounds, the inert pepper balls, and let's get some velocity tests on it, see what it looks like. Here we go. All right, guys, so as you can see, we're actually out on here on our range. I've got our chronograph set up here. We've got a new Scully down there in the center. Now, odds are I'm going to see if I can even hit Scully. I am kind of curious, but the first couple rounds I actually want to see what kind of velocity we're getting out of it. So we're going to go ahead and put in our magazine. I actually heard it chamber one up here, and it looks like up here, guys, there's a little kind of like a window to show you if it's actually charged. So what I want to do, so right now I'm going to go ahead and charge it. You hear that click? Okay. So if you look up in there, you can actually see the top of one of the rounds. So it's kind of like a little portal, an indicator to show you where the round is. So here we go. Let me climb back here, and we'll get her positioned here, guys. Once again, all right, glasses on. No promises. I'm going to try to get Scully and I'm reading at the same time. Here we go. 332. Guys, that is a really light trigger pull. I mean light. Here we go again. 319. 309. 301. Guys, I am nailing Scully. 287. 274. 269, and I think we're out. And we are out. Hang on here, glasses off. Guys, I gotta look at that. Those are inert pepper balls, and yeah, we were great. We were grazing all over. Well, look here. We were knocking holes through our thing again. It fires a tiny bit high, and I didn't notice. Let me see if there are adjustable sights on this thing, because that's one thing I would like to know. It looks like there are not adjustable sights, but it does look like there's a screw hole right here in order to attach some other sight to it. Now that actually is pretty cool. Actually, correction. You can adjust it up and down. There you go. So if you guys can actually see that closely, you can see that screw would allow you to adjust that sight. And it is firing a little bit high. There's no question of it. So I tell you what I want to do. I'm going to put in a fresh cartridge. I'm going to put in 7 of the Pava-Shot inert rounds, and then we're going to see if I can nail Scully with those after I sight it in. Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right, guys, so here we go. I've got 7 rounds loaded in here. These are the Pava-Shot rounds. And then what we're going to do is we're going to charge our mag. Hear that click? And as you can see, if you look up in there, you can actually see the top of one of the Pava-Shot balls. Okay. I'm going to move you up on Scully here. Now, remember I told you that the first time we were shooting this, it was firing high. And you can see that we did score a grazing hit on Scully. And when I say grazing, it definitely went into Scully there, see? But kind of a grazing hit. This is going to be, so I adjusted my sights down, so I should be dead on right here. And this is where I'm going to try to hit. So we're going to go from our 20, let's see, was it 21 feet? Yeah, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so 7 paces back, and here we go. So try 2. This is 7 rounds using the Pava-Shot rounds. Okay, hold on a minute. I think I definitely got my sighting on. Hang on a minute here. Come here, Scully. Whoa! Would you guys say I got my sighting on? What do you think? Bam, bam. Let me turn him sideways. Hopefully it'll hit up against that wall and won't fall off again. So how many was that? That 2 rounds? Okay. Backing up here, glasses on, and I'm going to try firing rather quick. Here we go. Whoa. Guys, did you see? Hold on a second. Okay. No doubt you guys can see the cloud. Well, this is Pava-Shot, but it's inert, and yeah, we're not gassing ourselves, but however, as you can see, I hit every one of those shots. I wasn't sure I was actually even hitting, but I clearly was. And it went completely in on every single shot. Guys, this is a $150 launcher. Yeah. Let's go talk about this. Here we go. Guys, the SABRE Pepper Ball Launcher. Okay, look, you heard me. It's a $150 launcher, $150. And actually, I heard they're on sale for like $144. That is ridiculous. This is a crazy powerful launcher for $150. That is just ridiculous. I don't see a whole lot of expandability or upgradability, at least externally. It's not like with like the MUB50 where you could dial up the power at all. But the truth is, out of the box, it hits hard. And guys, that rear, I wanted to show you guys this one more time. That little rear safety thing is really, really, really cool. I like that. And it feels good when you're firing it too. The trigger, that is as light as the salt supply. It is as light as the other saber. It's just wonderful. It's a great trigger on it. You can feel a build quality difference between a Byrna and the salt supply and this launcher. I mean, you could tell that there's a lot less money in this launcher as opposed to those two launchers. So it doesn't feel as heavy or as solid, but it's got some weight to it. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is not junk, but it's definitely lighter than those two. But still, for $150, you saw what it did. You saw that it will actually fire multiple kinds of ammunition, which is extremely cool. And I only see a bright future. I would love it if they would do away with this twist thing so that you had a pop, but I'm willing to bet future iterations probably will. Let's just see what they come up with. We'll see what they come up with. Guys, thank you so much for watching. As a lot of you guys know, I'm going to be out of town for the next 10 days. So I will put an automatic response on my emails. And by the way, my email's down there if you guys ever need to order anything. And I'll have a link to this down there too. But I will try to respond to emails throughout the next week or so, but it's going to depend on how crazy it gets out there, and it can get pretty crazy. Have a fantastic week, guys. Videos are coming while I'm gone though, so do not panic. Have a good one. Bye-bye.